She wants to act now because division in society has got so bad that she's being racially abused. Now, look, that is awful, and I am obviously very, very sorry that that is happening to her. But for decades, thousands of vulnerable working-class white girls were raped by Pakistani men, in part because they were white. They were seen as lesser than. That's racial abuse as well, isn't it? And when people said that they wanted to cut immigration because of stuff like that, that fell on deaf ears. So it seems to me, now the division in society is affecting her, it needs to be stopped. Another thing that winds me up is this.
I care about the fact that I have an important job to do, and I can see that there is a problem here that needs to be fixed. If it was possible to pretend there wasn't a problem because there wasn't one, I wouldn't be saying there is one. There is a genuine problem in this asylum system, and we need someone to sort it out.
So she's now complaining about how it's got so bad that we need to act now. Well, should Shabana Mahmood and the Labour Party not have some self-awareness here? They were the ones who've been telling us for years that we need to take more refugees and asylum seekers. They're not illegals, they're irregular migrants. They're all doctors, brain surgeons and engineers, and they're all fleeing war and persecution. I mean, she did all the lovely, fluffy things that she thought she needed to do so that people could think that she was a nice person and she was on the right side of history.
Lesbos, where boats have been coming in all day. Around 30 boats have arrived already today. There's a couple of charitable organisations on the ground here, one of whom is offering immediate medical assistance.
Yeah, well, now she appears to be admitting that that's not true, that people are gaming the system, costing the taxpayer billions, that people shouldn't be allowed to bring all their extended family over, that people are pretending to be child migrants when they're actually fully grown adults. I mean, there was a massive hoo-ha when then Tory Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick ordered children's murals to be painted over at a child's asylum unit. And now, Labour Shabana Mahmood wants to take jewellery and personal possessions off asylum seekers so that they can use it to pay for their own accommodation. Can people not see the hypocrisy here? It didn't need to get this bad. Another thing that winds me up is that so many people who worked at the hotels now being used to house illegal immigrants lost their jobs. Local business owners lost money because of the loss of tourism. Local residents lost their gym or swimming baths because they used to be members at the hotel's leisure clubs. Those people worried about their livelihoods and their way of life, and they were made to feel by many people in the Labour Party that they were racist and that they should just suck it up. Well, why is Shabana Mahmood getting tough on illegal immigration now? Look at the polls. Labour are down in 4th place. I mean, they're set to lose 351 seats at the next election. They'd be down to just 60 seats. Reform would get 313 seats. So now the issue of illegal immigration is going to cost them their jobs, their livelihoods, their MPs' salaries would go, their cushy subsidised lunches in Parliament would go, no more making the taxpayer pay for your expenses or for your train tickets or for your office stationery. Now it's their way of life that's going to be affected because of illegal immigration. They finally want to do something about it. But there is still a little bit of a Labour rebellion brewing. Look at tonight's headlines. There appears to be a growing Labour revolt over plans to cut illegal immigration. And where is Sir Keir Starmer while this is happening? Yeah, that's the one there about the revolt from Labour MP. So where is Sir Keir Starmer? He's gone abroad again. He's in Berlin, meeting Macron and the German Chancellor. He's on track to hit 25 foreign trips this year. I mean, he did this when the welfare reforms were being pushed through. He just left the country. He didn't bother to try to sell it to his own MPs, and then U-turned on it at the last minute to avoid a rebellion. And now he's off again. But at least he's got time to pop up on the front page of today's Daily Mirror saying, oh, great, I'll lead Labour at the next election. He is aware that that election is going to take place in this country, isn't he? I welcome that Labour are at least saying that they're going to get tough. And I really hope it works. But they are doing it for all the wrong reasons. Their hearts aren't really in it, and it is their ideology that caused this mess in the first place. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. GB News contributor Will Kingston, Tory MP for Tatton, Esther McVeigh, and then, of course, we've got Jonathan Liss as well, a journalist extraordinaire. Right, Esther, I'll start with you again. So, go on then. These plans... It felt to me as though Shabana Mahmood was saying that now, because very unfortunately, right, she's facing some backlash and racism. She said that now it's gone too far. Well, hang on a minute. There was things like the Pakistani rape scandal where people wanted to stop, and that wasn't far enough, was it?
What, you're surprised that Labour's doing a screeching U-turn for self-interest? Now, come on, Patrick. You're quite right. Not long ago, she was signing the letter to make sure the criminals weren't deported to Jamaica. She was also saying that she wanted an amnesty for illegal migrants. She was doing the signs, refugees, welcome here. And then she's come forward with a much bolder, sterner, stricter process on what she's going to do for illegal immigrants. I would say she gave a brilliant performance in Parliament, but I will say it was just that. It was a performance. Most of the things can't be delivered unless she comes out of the Human Rights Act, comes out of the ECHR. It's undeliverable. It was all talk, and it will actually not go anywhere. And she was actually putting a stake in the ground for her leadership bid, maybe not this time, but next time.
Yeah. And it didn't need to get this bad. You know, for her to stand up and go, well, we're in a crisis, we've got a crisis. Well, who caused that crisis? Seriously.
Yeah, of course. And Esther is right, it was a performance. And I will give a shred of credit in that we have become used to having a robot as a Prime Minister and a Chancellor who doesn't exactly inspire confidence. She did look like she had gravitas there. She did look like a leader. And she's obviously angling for the top job. So, performance, very impressive, very good. Will it work? Will it deter any boats? No, probably not, because we've said this on the show before, Patrick. If you want to solve this problem, you have to untangle the legal framework which stops us from detaining and deporting people. This does not go anywhere near the ECHR or the Human Rights Act or the Refugee Convention, and until you address that, you will not solve this problem.
Look, there's obviously no getting around as well the fact that one of the main reasons that we're in this situation is that for the last 14 years the Conservatives did not do enough. Absolutely. But I'll come to you on this, Jonathan, which is that, you know, had every opportunity that Labour had in the past, they clutched their pearls about things like painting over a Disney mural, some kind of asylum detention centre. Oh, you can't do that, you know. And now she's literally willing to take the watches off asylum seekers' wrists and flog them so they can have a night in a Premier Inn, right? So what was all of that for? All of that performative outrage before? What was the point of that?
Patchy, the thing with performative cruelty is that it's terrible whoever's doing it. Robert Jenrick was absolutely horrific in what he did, and I'll tell him so to his face if I get the chance. It was
he'll be listening now.
It was
a
nakedly disgusting piece of political opportunity, and he should be completely disgraceful.
Well, why are Labour admitting that they need to do all of those things now?
Now, what Labour is doing is not getting down to the absolute pettiness of Jenrick. It is a wholesale reform of the asylum system. I, for one, think it's absolutely dire. And I will say that as a person who wants Labour to succeed, because I think the consistency in principle is more important than tribalism. So
you acknowledge that they've sold their principles
Absolutely.
down the river?
Absolutely.
So did they ever have any to begin with?
Well, I don't know, Patrick. You look at... I would like to believe that somewhere in Shabana Mahmood's record, and there is a consistent record of her being very, very strong on human rights, very strong on sort of Palestinian rights, for example, right. and also, and as you say, right. on refugees, etc. So maybe if I'm offering a good faith explanation, she has got into power, she sees that this is a major issue with the public, and she wants to get it done. But I think this is the wrong way to go about it.
I'll just say just quickly, the thing that frustrates me about elements of the left is that they seem to get more upset about performative cruelty and nasty words than women and children being assaulted and actual crime and actual violence, which hopefully this can solve. But here's the problem as well. One of the biggest concerns that the public has is that these people are not being detained in, for example, a military facility or offshore, Ascension Island or wherever. Yeah. That's not going to change. The same fundamental threat to women and children will remain under this plan.
When people talk about detaining people in military facilities, guess who's always up in arms about it? The MPs, often Conservative MPs, whose constituencies...
Or Green Party councillors.
Right.
Or Green Party councillors.
Host those...
I disagree with that.
Look, there were people, I do think this gets overlooked a lot. There are plenty of people who used to work at these hotels and people who used used to enjoy the hotels as well because they often had gyms and leisure facilities, etc. And when people there were moaning, or not moaning, just legitimately complaining that they'd lost their jobs or their livelihoods were at risk, they told, just suck it up, Buttercup. But now these Labour MPs are staring down the barrel of a wipeout at the next election. So their jobs are on the line, so they want to do something about it.
It is self-interest. I don't believe they will do anything about this. Really, what needs to be done is detain and deport, so they never come into the country, because it's going to be a lot difficult, or more difficult, to get rid of people further down the line. They are now realising, Labour, that it was a massive mistake to get rid of Rwanda. They should have either seen whether it worked or whether it didn't work, but that was a deterrent. This is not going to be something solved with a simple thing. It will need a whole host of different things, but Rwanda definitely was the deterrent they needed, and some of the other stuff, but really it's for the birds. Most of what she delivered are just empty words.
Yeah, I don't think people...
And also the key thing, which I think you will see her left-wing sort of credentials coming forward, she's going to increase the number of safe and legal routes into the country. Yeah. So these figures won't be coming down.
Well, look, if she does that, Esther, if she does that, I would wholeheartedly applaud that. Yeah. Because at the moment...
That's right, because you want open borders.
I don't want open borders, Esther.
Do.
What I want is safe and legal routes for asylum seekers to come in here, because at the moment we have outsourced this to the people smugglers who are making billions of pounds, and we are funding that criminality.
All right. Does anyone know what you might? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know what the E3 is.
A visa.
No. Right. The E3 is apparently this group which is us, the French and the Germans. So it's Keir Starmer, Macron, and is it Merz?
Yeah.
No? Yeah, there you are, Chancellor.
Is that the drinks tonight?
That's the drinks tonight. So Sir Keir Starmer, again, this is now, there's a whiff of a Labour rebellion. It's getting some pushback from The Guardian and places like that. He managed to get himself on the front cover of the Daily Mirror saying, completely bumping Shabana Mahmood off, saying, I'll be leading you into the next election. And it's like he's just looked around for any event he can go to get him out of Britain, and he's going abroad again. He's gone. He's in Berlin.
Birthday, so he's having drinks with them tonight. A couple of schnapps. I think that's what it is.
Is that seriously it?
I think it is his birthday. He'll be back tomorrow. So we'll be tired, actually, for PMQs tomorrow. But it is any excuse to be out the country. He's possibly now out either 4 or 6 times before Christmas. And if he says, I'll be leading you into the next general election, because it's going to be next May.
Patrick, can I make a point coming back to the topic? I think you've actually made a really important point, perhaps inadvertently.
Stop it.
Which is that it's not a point that you were intending. It's not a point you were intending to make.
Yeah.
But Labour is desperate to appeal to reform voters by saying we're going to get tough on immigration, we can believe us, we believe in this.
Yeah.
And then people like you will say, well, you got the right policy, but we don't actually believe that you're doing this for the right reasons. We don't have any credibility.
Well, it's not
you don't have any credibility, and we don't have faith in you.
Well,
so actually what they're doing, it's not going to even work on a political level.
So last night...
No one actually believes that they believe it.
I agree, entirely. 100%.
Except, can I tell you how vicious and how upset the Labour MPs are in the House? It is not a wise move for them to have done all of this, basically, bluster about what she's going to do with the immigration. It is absolutely desperate on the Labour backbenchers. And I think Rachel Reeves is going to have to suffer the consequences here, because she's going to have to buy the left off with gifts, whether that is the benefit or what have you. So this budget could be even worse, because Shabama sort of showed a bit of ankle about what she was going to do on immigration. I'm telling you, I told you last week what was going to go on, and how Rachel Reeves was disliked because of what she was doing with the budget, and that was the left of the party.
Left-wing budget's what we want.
And it transpired that was true.
The problem that Labor will have is that this is not a policy area that you can spin, because at the end of every day there will still be a number on the media which says this is the amount of people that arrived. Some policy areas you can spin and you can tell a good story. Here, we will know whether or not it works. I don't think it will stop deter a single person.
Well, there we go. Look, we're going to have to...
We'll see.
We will see. And just quickly to your point, I get what you're saying. I mean, last night it was very fresh. I think she'd finished speaking about 7:30 or so, hadn't she? So we were in the office here. So, I mean, at face value, I was broadly in favour of it. I still am broadly in favour of it. It's just the idea of how deliverable it is. And I am annoyed that that it's come to this, because I think it's people like Shabana Mahmood and people in the Labour Party who have helped to create a situation where it has got desperate, and for them to stand there and say, oh gosh, things are so bad now, we need radical action.
The Labour
it didn't
Party
need to happen, you know.
Frustrated any move to stop any form of illegal migration. They absolutely opposed everything, and now they're not.
Rwanda was much crueler than anything Mahmoud
No, Rwanda
proposed.
was right.
We got to